The first time the HOA president's heels dug twin scars across my lawn, I thought it was an accident. The second time, I knew it was a message. By the third, when her white Escalade idled at the corner while she marched across my grass like it was a public sidewalk, something inside me snapped, and the neighborhood was never the same again. I had bought the house for the lawn. That sounds ridiculous until you've poured your evenings into a living thing, coaxing green out of stubborn soil, teaching roots to drink deep. The sod had finally knitted itself together, a soft, unbroken carpet I could walk barefoot at dusk. Then the HOA discovered a shortcut. They cut the corner between the clubhouse and the mailboxes by slicing straight across my yard. Every meeting, every inspection, they shaved another inch off my patience. I asked nicely. I put up little signs. I even planted flowers along the line they kept crossing, bright and fragile like a plea. Karen, she insisted on being called President Carlisle, but everyone whispered Karen, smiled with that sugar-sweet HOA grin and told me my property line was confusing. She said it while standing on my grass, heel grinding down a fresh sprout. Her Escalade's tires followed the same path, flattening a rut into my pride. When I complained, I got violation letters. My mailbox height, my trash can angle, a warning about hostile landscaping. The letters came on thick paper with official seals, like paper cuts meant to bleed. Meanwhile, the shortcut grew wider. Neighbors shrugged. It's easier, they said. Easier than respecting a boundary. Easier than caring. One night, after rain turned the rut into a muddy scar, I sat on my porch and watched the Escalade glide through like a conqueror's chariot. Headlights flared across my window. Mud sprayed. Karen didn't even look my way. That was when the idea arrived. Not fully formed, not violent, just inevitable. If they wanted spectacle, I would give them one they couldn't ignore. I didn't build anything in secret. I didn't sneak around or hide. I assembled a ridiculous, theatrical contraption at the far edge of my property, well back from the road. Wood beams, ropes, a counterweight. It looked like something from a medieval fair, absurd enough to make people laugh, harmless enough to be dismissed. I told curious neighbors it was yard art. The HOA sent a letter. I framed it and hung it in my garage. For a week, the shortcut continued. Karen smirked every time she passed. The Escalade's chrome caught the sun like a dare. The lawn sighed under the abuse. I waited. The morning of the annual HOA picnic arrived bright and loud, with balloons bobbing and kids shrieking. Karen was everywhere, clipboard in hand, Escalade parked in her usual spot near the corner, close enough to my yard to feel entitled to it. The shortcut traffic doubled, tripled. I stood by my porch, coffee in hand, calm as a held breath. When Karen cut across my lawn one last time, she didn't see me step toward the contraption. She didn't hear the soft whine of rope under tension. She didn't feel the moment tip from ordinary to unforgettable. The sound came first, a hollow thump, like a drum struck once. Then a blur arced across the air. It wasn't a rock or anything sharp or dangerous. It was a heavy, mud-packed sod roll I'd salvaged from the torn edge of my lawn, bound tight, a symbol more than a missile. Time stretched thin. The picnic froze. Karen turned, eyes wide, mouth forming a question that never found words. The sod roll met the Escalade's hood with a wet, catastrophic slap. Mud exploded outward like a brown firework. The windshield spiderwebbed, then gave way with a crack that echoed off the clubhouse. The hood buckled. The Escalade's alarm wailed, panicked and high. Children gasped. Someone screamed. Karen stood there, frozen, her reflection shattered into 1,000 pieces across her own car. Silence followed, thick and stunned. Then chaos. Phones came out. People shouted. Karen found her voice and it was shrill, a blade of sound. She pointed at me, accusing, demanding, promising consequences. I said nothing. I just gestured at the lawn, at the ruts, the mud, the crushed flowers, and then at the contraption, still an innocent now that its moment had passed. Police arrived. Statements were taken. Measurements were made. Property lines were verified. The officer looked at my yard, at the signs, at the framed letters in my garage. He looked at the Escalade and then at Karen, who kept insisting the shortcut was common use. Common didn't mean legal. The officer's voice was gentle when he explained that. The HOA board convened an emergency meeting that afternoon. Karen didn't sit at the head of the table. She didn't sit at the table at all. She paced, furious and humiliated, while neighbors spoke, finally spoke, about respect and boundaries and how tired they were of shortcuts taken at someone else's expense. A vote was called. Policies were rewritten. Fences were approved. Apologies were offered, awkward and late. Karen resigned a week later. The Escalade disappeared. The shortcut was closed with a simple line of stones and a row of new shrubs the HOA paid for. My lawn healed, slowly, stubbornly, the way it always had. The contraption stayed, because sometimes a reminder is as important as a repair. At dusk, when the grass cools and the air softens, I walk the edge where the rut used to be. The lawn is whole again. And the neighborhood, at last, learned how to walk around.